Good morning. My name is Ayanda. I'm the CFO of the BSU. And today with me, I have Malik Shehu. So, just like before, I never like to take the wind out of people's wings. So, I'd allow you this opportunity to introduce yourself.
Hi, and how are you doing? Thank you so much for having me here. My name is Malik Shehu. And I am a chartered financial analyst. I am a financial advisor, and I'm also a content creator who talks about finance. Currently, I work with both individuals and institutions to ensure that their money is well taken care of, essentially. So on the institutional side, I create investment strategies for institutional investors like your pension funds, and I help basically their members, retire comfortably. Then on the retail side, on the individual side, I give financial advice to people, teach them how to manage their finances well, as well as grow it. So I think in a nutshell, that's about me. And in terms of the content creation, like I said, I realized that there's a gap between um, financial knowledge and people, or rather the other guys that I've seen, the way they create their content might be difficult for other people to understand. So I decided to teach people how to manage their finances in a more humorous way, in a relatable way, and just so that they can understand and start their own investment journey and financial literacy journey. I
All
believe
right.
that's about
And
it, Ayanda. Thanks
all right. So
for that.
then, before we move on, where can we find you? Which social media networks should we look for you on?
So I predominantly post on my TikTok, my Facebook, and Instagram. So if you're on those social media apps, then you can engage with me. My TikTok is Malik Shehu CFA. My Facebook is Malik O Shehu, and my Instagram is Malik Shehu CFA.
All right. And then, as you had said before, a bit more about your CFA journey. What motivated you to do the CFA?
That's a good question. I think the motivation came from my varsity days, where I saw my counterparts, I suppose, living hand to mouth, and some of them were struggling. And it wouldn't be because they're struggling based on government, and I got mine from my parents. I was blessed enough to have that. But the one thing I noticed, the one thing that really sparked this, passion and feel this passion to want to go into CFA was the fact that I was a kid back then, and a lot of these kids around me were, assisting their parents with financial support. And it hit me in that it's supposed to be the other way around. Kids are supposed to lean on their parents for financial support. But now, when you have family members and guardians leaning on a child for financial support, then something happened along the way. So I decided, I cannot, fix what happened to their parents, but hopefully I can help fix what happens to, my generation and the future generations to come through financial literacy, through CFA. And that's why I did it, because the CFA teaches me more about finance, teaches me how to handle money, more importantly, teaches me how to grow money. So the idea of CFA was to, get into the asset management space or the investment space and learn more about growing people's wealth. And then I use that knowledge to also teach people how to grow their own wealth. So I believe that was the reason why I entered into CFA, to understand money, to understand how to manage and grow money so that I can disseminate that information to people as well as use it for my own benefit and the benefit of others as well.
All right, that sounds like quite the noble goal. And the next question I'd have is, how did you balance everything, seeing as at that time you're also working as a part-time lecturer?
So I actually didn't start working as a part-time lecturer when I was doing my CFA. I only started working as a part-time lecturer after I finished my CFA. So I graduated in 2015 and immediately I jumped into CFA. So I was a full-time student. And I know that it's quite difficult to juggle both work and school. So I understand the difficulties there. But I was a full-time student. I managed to clear all the levels in the shortest time possible back then. And then when I completed it, that's when so I was doing the CFA at a college. And when I was done with the CFA, I then got a part-time job at that same college to teach CFA level one for incoming students. So that's how I did it. And then because when you're done the all three levels, so the three levels to it, you still need to get the work experience. So as soon as I finished with the three levels, I started part-time lecturing in 2017. In 2018, that's when I got my first job, rather, my second job as a wealth advisor. So it is that wealth advisory role that helped me gain my experience. And then I became chartered in 2020.
All right. And then another thing is, how did you manage? What advice would you give to anyone thinking of pursuing a CFA
Mhm.
certification?
All right. So I think it all boils down to how badly do you want it. If you want something really badly, you're gonna have to go for it. And the one thing that you need to have, intrinsically is discipline. Do you have the discipline to sit and study? Do you have that discipline to not follow distractions out there? So that's what I did. And like I said, you mentioned something about my wanting to do CFA was because of a noble reason. So that was my why. I didn't want to, fail or fall back because then if I did, how will I achieve what I wanted to achieve? So I put in the work and I studied, and I had my own, way of studying. Realized that over the years, people have their own different ways of studying. So, for example, within the CFA, there's what, 10 subjects, 10 topics, I think. And they come, well, I don't know about now, but back then they came in six books, so six volumes. And what I would do is, volume one, two, three, because I work systematically like that, but other people have their own systems. So I'd read the volumes one, two, all the way to six, but I would still be attending classes, right? And I would study because I also understand that rest is needed. So I would study the entire day from morning up until class in the evening. And in the evening after class, I would then close my books. I wouldn't touch it because I want all the information that I've read to marinate inside my head and, not to just go overboard with it. So that rest was also important. So I'd rest after class until the next day where I'd study. So I'd had plenty of hours studying. And for those who have work, you need to also find your own routine, whether it is early in the morning, depending on if you're a morning person, or at night, depending on whether you're a night person. So you need to find your own balance. And then on the weekends, I would push quite a lot. But on the weekends, I would also do a lot of past papers because, practice makes perfect. So it is the past papers that I think really, really helped me, do well because then I understood the way that the CFA Institute asks questions. I understood how to time myself properly. I understood how to use the calculator effectively and quickly. So I just figured it along the way. But at the end of the day, it is all about that discipline and that drive to actually want to do this. So yeah, you just need to be an introvert for those amount of times that you're doing. Sometimes, yes, you can go out, take a break, but at the end of the day, you have to really put in the work.
All right. And how has it helped you in your career just so far?
Uh, so far, it has helped me understand financial markets as a whole. It has helped me understand investments as a whole. It has also helped me how to understand, the correlation between your financial assets out there, risk management, return, etc., etc. Like I said, right now in my career, first of all, my first job was, helping people grow their wealth, individuals. So it helped me understand, number one, how to help people manage their finances. So basically, wealth advisory. And it has also helped me understand how to help these people invest their money. So depending on your risk appetite, what asset classes do you go for? Is it equities? Is it bonds? Active versus passive investing. And even now, currently in my current role, helping institutions, it has helped me understand the different asset classes and how to build different portfolios and, create that risk return profile to ensure that the client's objectives are met because it's all about risk and return. And as an individual, yes, you can afford to take risks, right? But when you're a pension fund, you have to remember that you're not an individual. You have to look after the money of, hundreds and thousands of different people out there. So how best can you manage it? So asset classes, those fundamental principles, I use them every day at work. Yeah.
All right. But it seems you've really done well for yourself. Congratulations on finishing it so early also. And
Thank you very much.
just and thank you for also sharing with us a bit about the different risk appetites between individuals and institutional investors. Now, another thing that I would like to ask is, how do you see the role of technology in shaping your career going forward?
Sorry, you cut a bit. How do I see?
How do you see the role of technology shaping your career just going forward?
Um, you know, I think that technology, if really used well, is meant to enhance my career. So the way I try to look at it is if I can understand the technology behind it, I can use it to enhance. So, with the advent of your AIs and stuff, is how best can I use this artificial intelligence? How best can I use the upcoming tech to ensure that I, enhance my career? Because it's not that tech sector, yes, sometimes it can, replace people, but I believe that the people who know how to utilize the tech can actually advance, out there. So it all goes back to upskilling, I suppose, where you know what you know now, but you can know more, you can know better, and you can enhance your knowledge. So I'd like to, I know how to leverage it well and use it right.
All right. And then now, with regards to your tech knowledge, would you consider yourself particularly technologically able?
Choppy.
I'm sorry?
So the network, you keep cutting.
Oh, sorry. I was just asking if do you feel like it would, in terms of augmenting your career, it help more with data processing, data analyzing, but you'd still have that oversight over the outputs, or would you somehow try and make use of it in a different way?
Yeah, so and then make a decision faster because but still at the end of the day, we still need that human. I deal with people, whether it's trustees or individuals, I still deal with people. So I can use that to, do your data analysis. It's quicker, it's better. And then I'd still have to understand the output and how best I can use the output. So that's where then I come in to say, okay, this is what it has churned out, but this is still data and it's information, but how best can I use it and apply it to where I am currently? So it's application then. How best can I apply this tech, this AI, this information to ensure that it is being used well in the real world with the people that I work with the people that I work for, with the people that I'm servicing. How best can I do that? Yeah, so I can use it to augment, but at the end of the day, I still need to apply it in the real world.
All right. And before continuing, I just wanted to ask, out of personal interest, is there
Mm.
any part of finance, because finance has so many different areas, is there any area of finance you're particularly interested in?
Yeah. So I think the part of finance that I'm interested in is the investments. Like I said, for me, investment is about growing your wealth. I have done and I've touched a bit on other aspects of finance. Like I said, when you do the CFA program, you're exposed to multiple sides from your financial statements analysis to your quants to your economics, et cetera. But my particular passion was more in the different asset classes. So your equities, your bonds, your alternatives, your derivatives. These are the tools that I can use to, grow and enhance, wealth. So I think that investments is my favorite part of finance.
All right. And earlier you talked about
Also,
how,
not to say that I don't pay attention to the other parts of finance because the more it's connected. Economics would affect my finance, so I still need to be knowledgeable about other aspects of finance so that I can properly do the investment side of things. If you're talking about financial statements, I still need to be able to understand the company's financials because then it would help me really either boost. Hello.
no, I was just checking if my internet was still working. All right. And
Okay.
as you had mentioned towards the beginning of this interview, you provide content for people to start investing. You've realized that there's a knowledge gap. Now, I would just like to ask, what advice would you give to a young person who just wants to start protecting their money? Just, they don't know much about investing, they don't know much about finance in general.
Okay. Um, well, I think the first thing I would say is I'm happy that maybe they are aware and they want to start. So know your limitations first and then see how you can overcome them. So the first step is knowledge, consume information that would help you know better so that you can do better. So whether it is following pages of people who talk about investments, whether it is increase your financial literacy, get that knowledge, and then you can apply it. Um, so yeah, I think that's the first thing I would say is to do that. The number two is that you can't grow wealth if you don't have the money to grow wealth. That's from your income sources or money that you're getting. Just know how to manage your finances as well. You can't grow wealth on a deficit. So you need to have more money coming in than more money out. So as soon as you lock down that management of money well, then you can utilize part of it. So I think that that's a simple way of saying um, use what you have wisely, do not go above your means, and set something aside every day, every month, so that you can grow your wealth because wealth is grown from this excess out there. And yeah, so for those young ones out there who are starting out, increase your knowledge, but also understand that in order to grow your wealth, you need to have the money to grow your wealth. The only way to have that is to increase your wealth and manage your money well. Yeah, I hope that answers
Yes, it did.
the question I under.
Yes, it did. And I'd just like to continue by saying that I was saying with investing early, people often get scared with the huge
No
like
worries.
technical terms that are used
Mm.
in, especially when you go into researching the different investment accounts. So then it's a good thing you advise them to look for people to guide them, look for investment advisors or people like yourself online who may be able to help them. Now, going forward, what do you look for? Uh, just a young investment professional looking to enter into the industry. What do you look for in a CV that makes you say, I'm going to hire this person?
I think it would be the how do I put this? So you know what you know, right? But I think for me, it's also the effort that you put in and other stuff that you're doing out there. If I was on a hiring board, I would look for the extracurriculars. What else are you doing outside of school? And I suppose this is something that I didn't do, and I see that it is very important. So, are you working with kids? Do you have financial literacy small business out there? Are you a business person, for example? Have you run a company before, right? All these things, all these extracurriculars would allow me to understand that, oh, okay, this person is also putting things into practice, right? Because when you talk about businesses, this you do accounting on a daily basis. You need to know how to manage the business well so that you can grow your wealth. So I'd look for those extracurriculars. Were you in any clubs? Yeah, so that's just me. I'm not sure what any other professionals out there would look at. Just to give you a story, there's a friend of mine who once, gave me advice to say that if you're going to apply at an asset management firm, one way you can, I suppose, blow out the competition would be to apply for the job and apply for a CV. But that extra effort means you also attaching an analyst report about a certain company to show them that you actually do these things on the side. You understand? So it doesn't have to be perfect. It just shows that you are actually practicing what you are there from your different sources of information and that you have built this analyst report. And even though it's shabby, put in that effort to ensure that you want to apply for this company. So it's all about the little extra efforts for me. They would go a long way. So yes, know what you know, but also know other things as well, because these other things can be used in conjunction with what you know. And yeah, I think that's what I look for in the CV. What else are you doing out there?
All right. And is there, before you look at the activities or anything, is there a certain like educational requirement that you would have wanted that the applicant complete before you then say, is there like a cutoff to say if you achieved this or below this, then we can't go forward?
In terms of the educational background, I it's quite tough because sometimes people at some subjects, but they may be really good at a certain subject. So what if you didn't really do well in, I don't know, business management, but you did very well in the financial side of things, the investment side of things? What if you didn't do well in the economics part, but you're doing well in the financial side? So it's quite difficult, and I suppose I would play it by ear, to say that, okay, no, this person has done this, and this is where now the conversation comes in. Like, okay, so conversation would be the best way to cement whatever it is that's going on in my head. But I suppose when it comes to the academic part, has been in the industry, because I suppose it's easier that way. And it's, I suppose, less teaching. I mean, imagine someone coming from social studies and you're trying to teach them about finance. It may take a bit longer. So if they have done some bit of business, if they've done some bit of finance, some accounting, then yes, they understand the basics, right? If you understand the basics, then I suppose you're good to go. Uh, to give you further context, as an example, an ex-colleague of mine had done economics, and when she started working, her experience was not in economics at all. I believe she was in sales in a retail company. So when she finally got the job, she was a blank canvas, right? But because she had that economics experience, she understood the fundamentals about how the market would work. work, what interest rates mean, what inflation means, and I could work from there. And by the time that she had left the company, she had that knowledge. So sometimes it's really great working with blank canvases. Thing I wanted to say as well is you find out that some people who didn't do finance at all, for example, there's a nurse that I know who is doing CFA. That as well is also interesting because you want to pivot into the investment industry and you are you're putting in the effort. So I wouldn't hire a nurse, but I would hire a nurse who has taken the steps to learn about investments. You understand? So I believe that's what I would look into is what sort of background do you have in finance? Do you have any background in finance or investing or economics, Yeah, or accounting or any other thing that is in the financial industry?
All right. And I would just like to say thank you for agreeing to this interview. Thank you for taking time out of your day to be interviewed by me. Um, I've had a wonderful interview. I've learned quite a lot personally for myself and my CV going forward, and just for my broader interests around finance.
Yeah. No, you're
Uh,
welcome, man. Yeah, so I mean, I suppose finance is a lot. You just need to find out what really makes you take what really makes you happy. Don't just stop there, read wide, read different things, read things outside of finance because you never know. It would really help. I mean, if you're someone who really loves, for example, biology or chemistry, and you're really following companies who are building, this products out there, whether it's medicines and so on and so forth. If you understand those companies well and you're reading outside of finance, guess what? You can then apply that in finance because then you can say that, no, this invest. So this is why I always stress the fact and read other things that, it's not part out of it. There's a saying that the magic happens at the intersection. So if you know finance and if you know health, the magic happens at an intersection. You can do something with that information.
all right. And thank you for the advice. We'll be sure to just keep an open mind, be curious, and just explore our other interests.
Yeah, yeah,
And with that, I would love to end the interview before the meeting cuts. And again, thank you so
yeah.
much for agreeing to meet with us.
You're welcome, Ayanda. Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, all right. Have a good rest of the day.
Likewise. Cheers. Bye.
Cheers.